You see this? If I drop this leaf onto some soil, it will grow several brand new plants all by itself. And that is the magic of the leaf of life. This plant is also known as the miracle leaf, or the leaf of life is technically a succulent, but it's not just because it's a succulent that it's able to form new plants from just the leaves. Along the edges of these leaves are adventitious buds, or tiny little growing points. And along each of these little points, a brand new plantlet will start forming with its own leaves, stems, and roots, all while still attached to the mother leaf. These little developed plantlets can be removed from the mother leaf and planted elsewhere, or you can just leave the leaf in the soil and let it decompose naturally over time. And you know what's also cool about this is that you don't even need soil to grow these little plantlets. If the conditions are right and there's enough humidity in the air, this can grow its own little plantlets without even touching soil. I carefully removed this one from its container because I'm going to place it in ground. Look at how the leaf is still intact, and look at all these plantlets. Isn't that amazing? It has its own stem, leaves, roots. You can carefully detach this one, place that in ground or in its own separate container, or you can put the entire leaf into the ground or container, wherever you want to grow it. This is its new home for now. This is one of those very unique plants that's both beautiful and full of history, and it has some amazing qualities. And it's actually native to Madagascar, but it has spread across tropical and subtropical regions of the world. Now, for centuries in many cultures, this has been used medicinally to treat coughs, colds, fevers, kidney stones, and even insect bites and skin irritations. This will also help with inflammation in the body. Many cultures will steep the leaves to use in teas, or the leaves can be crushed and used as a poultice, or even chewed raw. They are bitter. And it might be a little bit easier to eat raw if you cut it up in smaller pieces and add it to a salad, or even add it into some soups or certain dishes as a garnish. Now, I do have to say that although this has been used historically for medicinal purposes, always check in with your healthcare provider before trying out any herbal remedies or natural remedies, especially if you have any health conditions or are on certain medications. Now, besides its medicinal properties, this plant makes a beautiful ornamental plant. When it matures and blooms, it has these beautiful bell-shaped flowers that are usually red, orange, or even pink. And it's such a low maintenance plant that it's perfect for beginners. And once you have one of these plants, I'm pretty sure you're going to want more, or you're going to want to share it with friends and family. So propagating it is super easy. So let me show you how to get it done. The new plants start sprouting and rooting along the edges. I took some leaves like this and I placed them into these containers, lightly covered them with soil, and within a few days I noticed several little sprouts popping up around the edges of the leaves. And about a month later, this is what they look like. And you can see the original leaves down here, another one there, and all these little plants popped up. If I move this over, you can see the stem right there. Same here and here. And you don't have to necessarily start these plants in containers. You can do what I did and also stick the leaves right into the ground. The original leaf is down here, and a brand new little plant is popping up. I have another leaf that I stuck right there with little plants popping up around the edges of the leaves. Here's one of several leaf of life plants that I have growing in ground. One of the leaves actually fell off and began rooting itself and sprouting up new plants. I did use regular potting soil, and they're thriving in that, as well as in ground. And I'm in Florida, so our soil is just essentially sand, and they're all happy. But because they are succulents, they may be the happiest in a special cactus succulent potting mix if you're going to grow them in containers. Now, these plants that I have in ground are all new plants. These were actually cuttings. And that's why you see that they're on the smaller side. They will grow a little taller and spread out a little wider. And as the leaves naturally shed or drop off of the plants, they will root in the ground. And if you don't want the area to be a little fuller with more leaf of life plants, then you can just simply remove them from the ground. So it's easily manageable is what I'm trying to say. But here's another way that you can propagate this beautiful, amazing, miraculous plant. You see the stem right here? Each section that you see here is called a node. And these nodes will form roots on them. So if you have a taller, fuller plant that has branched out, you can actually take some cuttings and then place this laying down onto some soil, and it will form roots along each of these nodes. This plant is really easy to grow. It's not fussy. Just needs a sunny location and some well-draining soil like what I have here in Florida. And it's pretty drought tolerant. It just needs the occasional watering. If it's waterlogged or if there's just too much water, it can be prone to root rot. Now, I've had my plants out here in ground all throughout the summer, and summer here in Florida is very rainy and humid. It rains almost every day, although this year it's been a little drier than usual. But still, these plants that I have in ground and even in my containers that are outside, I haven't run into any issues with root rot. And because this is a subtropical and tropical plant, it's going to thrive in zones 9 through 12. It may die back if there is a freeze, but it will sprout back up from the roots when the temperatures warm up a bit in the springtime. And that's speaking for me here in zone 9A. But if you're in zones 10 and above, this will grow for you as a perennial. You may not ever see it die back. And if you are in a colder climate, you can definitely grow these indoors. Just make sure that you choose like a south-facing window, give it some good sun, or even bring it outside during the spring and summer months, and then overwinter it inside the house so that you can protect it from the frosts. And just make sure the soil that you use is a cactus succulent mix, or you can DIY your own mix. Just make sure that it's very well draining, because it definitely does not want to be waterlogged. Now, when it comes to fertilizing, again, it's pretty low maintenance. It's not going to require too much. Just give it a balanced fertilizer every 3 months or so. And by balanced, I mean with an NPK of 10-10-10 or a special succulent and cactus fertilizer. But it's recommended to actually dilute that at half strength. For instance, if you're using a liquid fertilizer and it tells you to use a teaspoon per gallon of water, you're going to use half of a teaspoon. And same concept with a granular fertilizer. This is one of those plants that I highly recommend for any garden, not only because of how beautiful it is and how gorgeous the flowers are, but also how low maintenance it is. It's perfect for beginners, and you've got some natural medicine right at your fingertips. As always, I hope this video was helpful. If you're already growing this plant, let me know in the comments how you've used it. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Bye.